Her name was Rodan, and she lived in the ocean off Japan.
At last, the greatest album of love songs ever recorded. You'll want to share them with someone special.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Sung by the man who turned a personal affliction into a recording career, Don No Soul Simmons.
Just like me, they long to be close to you. Why do stars fall down from the sky every time you walk by? Just like me, they long to be close to you. She'd been sitting there and
So curl up by the fireside and listen to the non-threatening music of this master showman.
And honey, I miss you. And I'm being good. And I'd love to be with you. If only I could. Say, has anybody seen my sweet gypsy rose? Here's her picture when she was my sweet man.
Young lovers of any age will cherish this timeless collection of the world's most romantic ballads. And if you act now, you'll get free this bonus album, Don Simmons, Down and Funky.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog, was a good friend of mine. Never understood a single word he said.
This two-record collection is not available in any stores, so order now.
Yes, he always had some mighty fine wine.
The Shinola on that one. All right. Now, I would like to address this arts funding issue. Now, this all reminds me of a humorous story of the traveling salesman. Let's say that the taxpayer is a farmer and the government is a salesman. Well, the farmer says you can spend the night in my barn, but do me a favor, don't stick your willy into any of the 3 holes in the wall. Well, in this case, the salesman's willy represents the taxpayer's money, you understand. Well, the government, like the salesman, can't help himself. Sticks his willy in the first hole, it feels good. Sticks his willy in the second hole, it feels even better. Sticks his willy in the third hole, and it hurts like hell, and it won't let go. Well, in the morning, the farmer comes out, and he explains. Behind the first hole was my wife. Behind the second hole was my daughter. And behind the third hole was a milking machine that don't let go till it gets 50 gallons. Gentlemen, I propose that this arts funding is like a milking machine, and unless we shut it down, it's going to rip our dicks right off.
Tonight's show is brought to you by the new U.S. government, improving the arts by severely limiting them.
Look, this is just an informal chat. We were wondering what you were working on in your lab.
Well, I've invented a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Right, and what's positive about that?
Well, it's a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, could it also give worms to ex-boyfriends?
This is a drug for the world to give worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, great. Thanks for stopping by.
You just don't get it here.
Eat!
Hello there, son. Do you know where Mr. St. Cloud is?
Oh, goody. I'm being hazed by my big villain. I wear my rubber panties just in case you tickle me. I always make wee-wee with tickles.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's St. Cloud?
Andy Warhol and John Waters, in conjunction with Saliva Productions, present Jim Barrie's beloved children's classic, Peter Pan.
I think I see him. No, that's just a cloud. No, it's not. It's Peter.
I'm flying. I suddenly here am I'm flying.
Yes, it's Divine, starring as the boy who wouldn't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I don't want to go to school.
I don't want to go to school.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
And recite a silly rule.
And recite a silly rule.
I like cream pies as much as the next guy. Oh, don't say it out loud. Oh, okay. Let me make a cream pie for you, okay? Then you can try it. See what you think. I do not want to taste your cream pie. They taste great. I can guarantee it. You've tasted yours? Of course I have. Haven't you? No. I've tasted mine. I didn't like it. I've tasted mine, yeah. I liked mine.
What do these coca leaves do to you?
Well, if you chew them for a while, you get a feeling of euphoria, increased energy, strength, and stamina. It's also rumored to heighten your sexual desires. And it makes you see beauty in the most repulsive things.
Did anyone ever tell you that you have the most adorable ear?
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. This is our 151st consecutive Tuesday since we've been, we've been here every Tuesday. We've done some shenanigans with the numbering or the title. But as far as FCP is concerned, it's all legit. And today we're going to look to the future, not look at the past. There's so many things that we could be dwelling on. And instead, why don't we look forward to what's going to be going on? Yeah, I like that. For those of you that are new here, welcome. For those of you that are continuing to come back, as always, hello. We'll be talking to you in a moment. For those of you that are new, this is a comic book show on YouTube, spoken from a comic book fan. That's me, Yule, who is also an owner of a comic store. That's me, Yule, owner of Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. for your funny book shopping needs. We are also on social media. Just look for Fantastic Comics and you're bound to hit us. Thank you for joining us. I know there's a lot of comic book content that's out there, and I really do appreciate that you hang out with us. I like to talk about things that go on in the the store. So, maybe you don't go to a comic book store anymore. Maybe it's not doing it for you right now, but you still want to get a taste of it. Well, that's what this is. So this show is that. And one of the things we like to give you a taste of is a little thing that I like to call That's right, the Wrestling Minute. Usually I talk about WWE. Sometimes if I'm making fun of it, I talk about AEW. That's another organization. And of course, there's all the other ones that are going on, but so much to pay attention to. And I'm really taking a break from it. I feel like in my life, but again, owning a comic store, there are times when you have these conversations that you just can't get out of. And I got to admit, I move them along sometimes. And so the first thing I'd like to talk about is Sasha Banks. She's going to be wrestling on the 1st. Before we meet up with each other again, she'll be wrestling in Japan, which is a dream, I'm sure, of hers. She's really into the Japanese scene, and this is probably a dream come true. One that she's had for all of 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. She said she likes wrestling all her life. So, to see her away from it for so long, it feels bad a little bit. But we're all very excited about what she's going to be doing after. And there is a hint out there, a little rumor, that she might be Saraya's, that's whatever her name was, the raven-haired vixen from WWE. The stomp kick, I can't wrestle lady, British bird, that she might be wrestling with Saraya. So, hey, good luck to you. I hope you get all that money that you were looking for. And lastly, on Friday night coming up, there's going to be a women's title match with Ronda Rousey and her challenger, Rebecca Gonzalez. And there's also going to be a tag match with Sami Zayn, who if I was going to name like Wrestler of the Year, Sami Zayn all the way. He's going to be teaming with Roman Reigns. He's an honorary Uso, Sami Zayn is, and he's going to be wrestling with the head Uso, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And their competitors are going to be Sami Zayn's very good buddy from all the way back in the day, Kevin Owens. and his partner is going to be John Cena. Wow. John Cena is going to wrestle for the first and last time this year. He's got like a string of years not realizing that he needed to wrestle in this match or else he's going to break it. And with that, that's your wrestling match. There's nothing really to talk about. Just silly stuff. And I think it's been a slow week and everybody's happy about that. I'm happy about that. Now we're going to just like get on into it. We're going to get on into the comic book stuff. We're going to talk about, the future. We're going to talk about my resolutions that I have that I've been wanting to talk about. I've been really excited to let you know what I'm going to be, what I'm going to be limiting, what I'm going to be adding to my, my overall health, my mental health, the physical health, all of it. And we're going to try and find out what you guys are into. But first,
we didn't come to borrow any money. We didn't come to borrow any dough. We didn't come to borrow any trouble. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh, hello to you, Mr. Penny. Please don't think that we are hammy. We just stopped in from Alabama. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh boy, you said it. We just stopped in to say hello. And don't forget it. We just stopped in to say hello. And I'm hello. Hello. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone. That's me, Yule. That's how you spell it, right here in the corner. Right there. First up was Fantinuum saying, yo, yo, yo. My New Year's resolution is to finally clean my place and get those drawer boxes. Yeah, we're going to make that dude from Drawer Box some bank. We're going to get your stuff all set up. It's going to look great. Excuse me. Jilby Pill's in the other room saying hello. And Elithidor is here to tell me a record as legitimate as Goldberg's undefeated streak. Well, yeah. I think Goldberg's undefeated streak is like not very legitimate. They fudge things. Jade Cargill over in AEW. I'm not sure she's a legitimate champion, but her streak is legitimate. And it's going on. Could it surpass Goldberg? And then Jill says, not Rebecca, it's Raquel. Of course, Raquel Gonzalez. Who's Rebecca Gonzalez? I don't know. And that's it. Hey, everybody. I see there's a bunch of people that are watching, lurking. Not me. If you're interested and you have any questions, if you want to talk about what resolutions you're looking to unburden yourself with, does resolutions have to be something you're not doing or something you are doing? I'm going to drop weight. That's a big one for me. I feel like this is the year I'm going to less beer, like almost not. I don't really drink a lot of beer and stuff like that, but I do partake. Sweets are bad, and I've cut those out before, but I've slid. This was a good year for sliding, and I don't know. I just want to see how small I can get, and I hope that can happen. My will isn't very good. I can do it with the dog. I can force Gizmo what to eat, but or how much he can eat. But me, I take Gizmo for a walk, but nobody takes me for a walk. And I just always have like these little things, and I just want to get rid of having these little things. So that's a big deal for me personally going forward with the new year. I want to grow Fantastic Comics, make it bigger, make it more efficient. That's a definite thing I'm looking forward to trying to make happen. And that's just some of the stuff. But before we get into that, because I have some comic book specific things that I want to talk about, because, you can see behind me, I've got all this stuff here. I've got Jill's willing to take me for a walk. All right, and Doc Post-a-Lot is here. Excellent. He's procuring me awesome candy bars. I can't wait to. But I've got all this other stuff, and I just need to really start, paring down. I mean, I'm very, for the most part, very specific, and I don't have to have everything. I don't have like a shit ton of pops or anything like that. But I've got posters that are lying around that should be, done something with. Maybe possibly bring stuff into the store. I would love to have, do more recordings about the books that I have. I have a lot at the store that I still have to get through. So there's a lot of that also. But stay tuned, because this thing for comics, as far as being a store owner, as far as being, a fan of the medium, the news, my New Year's resolution, it's way more extreme than any of the weight loss that I've been thinking about, partaking in, or anything like that. It's way more extreme. What could it possibly be? For those of you that have come to the store, already. All right, excellent. That's good to know. That means we aren't totally blocked on Twitter for any reason, and people can see it. And you paid attention. A New Year's resolution. Yeah, well, I'm not really watching that stuff that much, and I'm very, very happy about it. I think I want to like consume less. Like, I want to increase the consumption of the things that I already have and the things that I'm very much looking forward to. But I don't know. I want what I do to make things more fulfilling for me. I don't want to like waste my time reading an X-Men annual. I'm not that into. A lot of people, and I mean this show isn't that way where I'm complaining about stuff too often, but I don't want to like spend my time. I mean, I don't for the most part. Again, it's just conversations you have with people and things get brought up and whatnot. And things can sometimes get heated. Not that that's what's going on. It's just, it can. And, it's just such a weight. And I've got this Futurians right here to read, and I've got Slaughterhouse or Slaughterman. And anybody that knows my little, if I could do my dream comic book, my dream comic book stems from books like Slaughterman and Futurians, Big Numbers, and like what? That's crazy. Those books, strange. And yeah, I have like some things I would really enjoy. Just like little dream projects to make happen. I want to start thinking about getting that going again. Also, not comic booking, just But first, we should talk about some new comics that are coming out tomorrow. I got a ton. Oh my lordy, guys. There is a lot of Marvel. DC is pretty plentiful. I know Fantini won't be in until next week. Holy cow. Holy cow. That's what I want to say to you. First up, randomly, we've got She-Hulk number 9. Look at these exciting covers that bring you back to the days of, X-Men in the Byrne era, or Avengers covers that George Perez did. And they're just like leaping out of the page to attack the villains that are in front of them. This is like up there with X-Men number 100. Yeah, just two competitive sides going against each other. I've actually heard this is still pretty good. I personally haven't been reading it. I do like Miyazawa's artwork. It is manga. I mean, it's manga-esque since it's, American comics, I'll say esque. but it won't make you forget manga art. But I really think that Miyazawa's art usually works really well with the superheroes that it's on. Next up, we have a dark web tie-in. There's going to be a bunch this week. Amazing Spider-Man number 16. After I talk about the last one that I have up here, I'll give you my real thoughts on like what you probably should need to buy as opposed to what you might want to buy. This one's a good issue though. Zeb Wells, the main writer, and Ed McGuinness on art. And if you got the issue before, it syncs up with this one. King Spawn, number 18. I have to show you this because David Mack doing a Spawn cover. I don't think that's happened before, has it? And yeah, that's interesting. Inside's not him. Who is it? Let's see. Let me get that banner down. Oh, wrong banner. I don't know who that is. Sean Lewis is also is the writer, though. And there you go. Next up we have Dark Web tie-in, issue 2 of 3 for Dark Web X-Men. It has Rod Reyes artwork and Jerry Duggan's doing the writing. He does the X-Men mains title. And Noto is also doing artwork, more than just cover. Huh, that's interesting. So yeah, get that one if you're inclined. Number 1 is almost entirely a sellout here at the store of Doctor Strange number 1. This is the Tradmore written and drawn book. And let's be real, you're getting it because of the illustrations first and foremost. It's beautiful, top-notch artwork, and like just one of those things you want to have on a shelf also. What do I have to say about this? And I was like, and that was not even the first run of Doctor Strange number 1s that I've got. I ordered extra and I pretty much ran through those. So it's been doing very well. And number 2 comes out tomorrow. Strange Academy Finals, number 3. Same team as Strange Academy, but this is the finals. So I'm not sure exactly how long the series is going to be going on, but Scotty Young writes a good kids book. And I really mean an all ages book with kids in it. And Humberto Ramos is like a perfect fit for art in this one also. Next up, we have Timeless number 1. I guess this is 2022's Timeless. There was one from last year, and it also was about Kang. And I started reading this, and then I remembered I don't really like Kang. And even though I've read some issues that deal with him, I really don't like this stupid character. And he's going to be like the main villain in the MCU. I don't know about that. Anyhow, Timeless comes out. I expect it to sell out, and you should make sure you come in and get it if you want. Murder World Spider-Man number 1. Actually, all the Murder Worlds are number 1s, and they feature a different Marvel character, a hero. The first one was Avengers, and I just read it a little bit ago. Jim Zub, Ray Fox are doing the writing, and I think it's a different illustrator each time. And it was a good first issue. I kind of whipped through it a little bit more than I didn't read it as closely as I do all my reading. So I have a general idea of what's going on, and it loosely can, if I understand it correctly, the things that are being going up against the people in Murder World are like last one was Avengers, and now it's going to be Spider-Man type stuff. So it's Murder World Spider-Man, not Spider-Man in Murder World necessarily. But the first issue was good. I liked it. And this first issue will probably be good also. Book of Slaughter. This is a $10 first issue. I'm not sure how many more are going to be coming out. Written by Tynion and different people working on it with him. This follows anybody that reads The House of Slaughter or Something is Killing the Children. You're going to want to get this. Image Anthology 30th anniversary number 9 comes out tomorrow, and I really think anybody that sees this cover should know if they need to get this or not. It is a Christmas story, so a little late, but it's an Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips Christmas story, and there's a whole bunch of other people that are really good in this book. Anthologies don't always sell also well, but this one for 9 issues has been really good. Once Upon a Time at the End of the World. We got to make sure these names of titles are getting longer and longer. Jason Aaron is writing it, and I don't know anybody else on the artwork. I remember the first issue looked pretty good, but I didn't read it. I had a customer whose daughter, though, read the whole first issue as she was waiting for her father to get everything. And she picked it up, and they made sure to get that one also. She liked it enough to take it home. So, don't take my word for it necessarily. Take a customer's of mine's word. Read it right there and bought it. So I like Jason Aaron, and he just hasn't really been winning me over with a lot of his Marvel stuff lately. Like, I'm still reading his Avengers, so I'm thinking like this might be, him stretching out and doing something that's not so, Avengers IP laden. Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons number 3 is out. Kelly Sue DeConnick's trip through the history of the Amazons concludes. This time with Nicola Scott on art. Nicola Scott's a perfect person to be drawing this. She's worked on Wonder Woman with Greg Rucka and all sorts of DC stuff in the past. And I think this will look really, really good. If you've read any of the other ones, I'm sure you're going to want to get this. I don't really need to say too much more. It feels like a lot of the titles that are coming out are like right in the middle of ending or are ending. And so, like, case in point, this is book 7 of Batman Beyond the White Knight, the Sean Murphy Bat Universe book. And I think it has like 1 or 2 more issues to go. And I don't really need to say too much about it. It's Batman Beyond with Sean Murphy doing the writing and the art. Blue Beetle Graduation Day. This is more of a letting you guys know that this exists, because I'm not going to order too many more going forward unless you really want to be put on the list. I am not, what is his name? It's not Robbie Reyes. That's the Ghost Rider. Whoever the Blue Beetle is, and I've tried before because I read almost anything that Keith Giffen works on. I just never really dug this character, and I guess it's like the whole Scarab aspect of it. I really enjoyed, the Justice League days where it was just that dude in the suit, Ted Kord. This is the disappointing thing to tell everybody. This should be in tomorrow. Nice House on the Lake. This is the last issue of the very, very successful series in my store. And I do believe it's doing very well elsewhere. It's pretty much a near sellout. And I didn't get this issue in. The order was placed, but for whatever reason, the 17 copies that I ordered weren't in the boxes. So I'm going to be waiting for this. And you will too, right? Right? Tales from Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee. Why in the 2000s, the early aughts, Stan Lee was working for DC Comics in the Just Imagine series. I just imagine they sold, even though they didn't really all that well. And it's kind of cool because there's people that are working with Stan that never had before. And, you know, it's kind of like, what if you created the DC universe? And there are some all right things. And, you know, you also saw some other people that didn't necessarily work over at DC, like John Buscema doing a Superman. That was pretty cool. But this is a bunch of people taking those characters and they're doing a riff on the Stan Lee stuff. So it's like, you know, process Stan Lee, which was probably doubly processed to begin with. And last but not least, Jon Stewart, the Emerald Knight. This is the finale of sorts, the epilogue of the Jeffrey Thorne, his Green Lantern comic that came out last year, last year. And it was all right. I mean, I know some people that dug it, but I'm alerting you to this presence, to this thing, because like, if you miss out, you're gonna be very upset, because this is the finale of all that other stuff that you've been reading. And if you didn't know it was coming out, there you go. And with that, that's NCBD for tomorrow. Let me take that down. That didn't take so long. I got some presents the other day. There was this thing called Christmas. Talking Soul, I guess he had some packages to deliver, so he was kind of like Santa. And he came by the store, and I opened it Christmas Eve. And it's sideways, but look at that. It's like a flag. It has like metal circlets on the top. And I can hang that. And it's a Mobius Silver Surfer. So I want to say thank you very much for that. And Battle Buddy, who is sometimes here. Hold on a second. Okay. He got me this. I didn't know anything about this. It's a Bad Rock comic book that Rob Liefeld drew and Stephen Platt did the inking of. And I'm sure this is like from back in the day. But the cover, and I'm not sure if you can see it. Oh, yeah, you can. It's puzzle pieces. So, like, I can take this out and we can play with the puzzle. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty sweet. There's also some comicking going on in the back, which I guess is part of the book. Thank you very much. And with one of the, and I have a couple people, both actually guys have been handing me clear backing boards and bags every once in a while. And the reason why you want a clear backing board is, bag, but the board is so that you can see the other side of a wrap around a gatefold cover. And so last week, this Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths came out, and this was the tribute to George Perez being surrounded by the Titans and all the other people that he's drawn. And it's a who's who of people that are doing the art of these characters. And that is a pretty cool thing. The only people I could guess, like there are a couple I'm like, all right, that person's like similar, was right here. And I can't remember who it was now. Oh, I know what it was. That's from the Wonder Woman book. The Historia. What did I say? The Nicola Scott. She has she does a prominent nose. I'm like, oh, okay, very good. $10. How many pages for the that book? That one's a $10 one. There's another one that's $10. Oh, the book of the book. It's thick. It's like a crowdfunded comic book. So you don't have to wait like 2 years, and you don't have to pay $30 for shipping. So it's better than a crowdfunded comic book. Jamie Reyes, thank you very much, Elithador. That's right. Just never got into Jamie Reyes. It just never really. The character just didn't speak to me, and I mean, I don't really have a problem reading younger characters. Hispanic characters isn't a problem necessarily, but I just don't really like that version of the Blue Beetle really that much, is what it comes down to. All right, here's what I'm going to start. So let me put this down here. All right. I want to get serious with you all. These are my resolutions. Okay. On my drop weight. But now that we're into the comics, right? Okay. I gotta do stuff for Patreon. My Patreon people are awesome, but I gotta goose it a little. I'm gonna do better about promoting this store, promoting the show, doing things to, make one lead to the other. And I've done that. I made some strides. This is easy. Being in front of people, it's easy to talk to them. Being in a situation where I don't know people, I can do a good job. But it's something about when you're so anonymous, the anonymity of social media, or the perception of what who's doing social media. Like, I want to have conversations. I want to say something's good, something's bad, but I know what if it's not the person being responded to, it's someone down the line that's going to take offense to it, and I'm not really, anytime I post something, I'm usually trying to be a little snarky or a congratulatory, or put some information out there, a little bit of knowledge. And then usually comic book related. If I can do it with a little bit of zing, that snark, but not to the point where someone's going to hate it. I don't, but half the time I'm erasing everything I was going to say, or I just don't do it at all. And, I don't, it's not that I'm scared of doing it. It's that I don't want to just hassle people. I don't want to be the person hassling. And also, a lot of hustling is hassling people. I call it hustling. I'm not hassling. I'm hustling. So that I'm this guy that owns a comic store and I sell comic books. I see people, and every once in a while someone's like, this is my list of all the stuff that I'm still looking for. And I contact them. I should be doing that a lot more. It's just rough. So I'm going to try and do that kind of stuff. And, that's good for the store going forward, Instagram, all that stuff. Probably not whatever the next one is going forward, because, Twitter's already a hellhole, a hellscape. It's Buffy. She's fighting that's where, if I was going to be writing a Buffy comic book or something, she would be fighting I'm not trying to steal from What We Do in the Shadows, but the hellscape is like social media, and that's where all the real vampires are. She's got to get her ass in there. But yeah, so like that's important, getting the store ship shape, making it so that it can run without me should that need to happen. That needs to occur. There's still a lot of stuff that has to go right or finish being done correctly to make that happen. But the light is there at the end of the tunnel. Thank you everybody for dealing with what I'm saying here. This is the working out in front of you, everything I'm going to be doing without saying anything. But this is the important stuff. Okay, here right now. My resolution, Yule's resolution. I am not going to, for a year, the whole next year, I'm not reading any Batman comic books. I'm not a big fan of Batman. I mean, I do. I have a couple of these black and white figurines. They're cool. I like Frank Quietly, so I made sure to get those. But I've never been that enamored with Batman. I've read a lot. I've read a lot of Batman in my lifetime. And I feel like, for the most part, I've read everything I'm ever going to need for a character I'm not that fond of. And that's it. I will read a Justice League comic book if Batman's in it. If there's an event that's going on, I will read it if Batman's in it. But if it's Batman, the event, I'm not reading that either. If it's Mark Silvestri writing and drawing it, I'm not reading that. And I didn't read that Batman Spawn, so I only have a few more days if I'm going to read that at all. And I'm not going to. So I read my last Batman, and I'm going to share that with you. And I might as well do that right now. I'm going to take my camera off just because of that. Oh, wait, is it in the thing? Okay. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Let me just really quick. I should have a song here for you guys, but I don't. All right, here we go. I'm going to just bring this up right now. Oh, wait. I tell you one thing I'm really into, though, right now is Marvel Snap. It's a game that you can play on your phone. And I learned about it because of, I'll say my nephews. And they were playing it, and I totally dug it. And I totally dig it. And look at this. I won only placing Dr. Doom down. And as a result of this Bar Sinister area, a whole bunch of Dooms got created in all the spaces. And I was able to actually end up winning that. I thought it was great. It's a great mixture of Magic, The Gathering. Oh, but this is a bummer. Already I'm seeing those Magic assholes that ruin the game for normal people. They find out all the super sweet combos, and then everybody rushes to go and copy them and everything. They're on Marvel Snap. Can't you just stay away so normal people that don't have horrible. Yeah, I'm not reading any more Batman comics. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not reading any more Tom King Batman books. That's not true either. Zdarsky, Mark Waid. I don't care. I don't care. There's the Batman Superman World's Finest. Now I'll let you guys, decide whether or not that would be allowed. I mean, he gets front billing, but equal billing. Personally, I'm not reading it anyway, so it's not going to hurt me. But what would I do then? Is that a Batman book I should be allowed to read for myself? What about Batman White Knight? I've already read that, and I don't read the sequels, so I'm doing okay. I'll read it again someday. I mean, I feel like if I could have a year off of reading Batman, there has to be at least one storyline that happens next year that when I read it in 2024, I'll be like, wow, I was really missing something. And if I wasn't, then, maybe I did a good job not reading any Batman. Magic Gatekeepers. Yeah, I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper and all, but they come in and they they really ruin the sport, the funness of it. I mean, it's, you do want to like play your deck against somebody else, but there's the perfecting of a deck so that it runs really well, and then there's the perfecting a deck to where it kind of like kills it, like the fun. Like, I'm more inclined to just say fuck it and leave. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of those real serious pros, they don't know how to have fun. They only know how to like break it so that it's broken. And then it's like, oh my God. And Magic gets broken pretty easily anyway. So, you don't need to do that with Marvel Snaps, because I've been thinking like Marvel Snaps. Look at these characters that are on the screen. I know it's small, but you got Jubilee and the Infinite and Wasp and Kazar and Carnage and the Hood, Sunspot and Hulk. And then only because I only played one card, I played Doctor Doom. But I had Nightcrawler and White Tiger and Ironheart and Hulk and Elektra and Medusa. And do you know all those characters? What if you're a kid and you only know the Hulk? Might you be interested because you just walloped the board with Doctor Doom? Or, you really did well with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, whereas you weren't a fan of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur before. Maybe you, as a little kid, a younger kid, possibly a boy, probably a boy, possibly a girl, that doesn't know about these characters because you don't watch Disney all the time. Or you're not you're not doing the superhero stuff yet, but this is the thing that your friends are playing, and you're winning with these characters, and then all of a sudden you start enjoying these characters because of what they can do for you. Now I'm interested in the stories that are being put out. You got to get a good Wasp comic out there, there's going to be one coming up next year. You got to do good Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and start making Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur for people that want to read about a book with a dinosaur in it, and get it right. And you got all these people that are, it's won game awards for mobile games, right? It's a very solid game. I think it really is easy to play, and it's fun to play with these characters. But you got to have the product to go along with it. All right, I talked enough about Marvel Snaps. Let me stop that. I'm going to share screen. Yikes. All right. The last Batman I read for a year. This is what we're going to leave out on. Number 375. This came out in 1984. I've read it before. I was 14 years old when I remember reading this. Was Ed Hannigan and Klaus Janson on art on the cover. It's a cool cover. I think it's neat. It totally is something that's pretty much happening in the story. And it's got a word balloon. Isn't that wonderful? It's approved by the Comics Code. And Don Newton is the illustrator. Doug Moench is the writer. He wrote a lot of Batman. He wrote a lot of comics in the 80s and 90s. Oh, and Alfredo Alcala is the inker. This is a who's who of people working in comics. Don Newton is a very solid penciler. Alfredo Alcala, just a great inker, great penciler. Todd Klein, he did the lettering on Sandman, and if you want to see what a letterer can do, well, actually, you just need to look at this issue right here. Adrian Roy, colorist, I don't think ever said anything on Twitter once. And Len Wein's the editor. Man, And this story opens up with a nice little poem about Gotham having been frozen. You see all the citizens and the bridge and everything, and the toll it's been taken. And this writing and this art is all been done by this guy on the table here, the desk, and he's drawing out the visions of Mr. Freeze. And Mr. Freeze, man, he's pretty buff looking here. Arnold didn't look this buff in the movie. I kind of dig this version of him. And if you don't know anything about Mr. Freeze, they make sure in like the third or fourth page for him to, like, you know, go back and let you know all the stuff that he did. He used to be a villain called Mr. Zero. He was working on his ice gun, and then he zapped himself and screwed himself up so that he has to be in near freezing temperature all the time, or else he'll, I guess, die. And this brother up front's like, crazy dude. Him and this ice jive be very, very white. Maybe too white for me. Hilarious. Great stuff. I love him just like sitting on this throne here. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, talkie. I gotta make this gun. We gotta make more, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna steal stuff, and we're gonna rob a bank. Basically, is what's gonna happen. All the criminals are talking about what's been going on. There's a big conversation with the guy who's doing the artwork. He wanted to be, you know, something, and then he just, you know, fell into a life of crime, and somehow he's, you know, hanging out with Mr. Freeze. And then the attack on the bank occurs. I like it. You got the guards here. Their breath, they can see it. It's colder than it's supposed to be. And then as they're shooting the gun, it feels like an earthquake. And these guards are taken unawares. The bank falls into the earth, and Mr. Freeze and his goons go in and start to steal some money. All right, everybody's favorite Robin is right here, right, everybody? This is Jason Todd. In fact, one of the last times I talked about a Batman comic book, I think on FCP, Jason Todd was having problems with a social worker coming in and trying to figure out what was going on with him. But here he is at home with Bruce. They're playing chess, and there's a bat signal. And it's a smaller mobile bat signal from the hills to the west. So they know it's not going into Gotham proper, I guess. And when they get to the bank, Commissioner Gordon's there. They're checking things out. I like it's all pretty much out in the open. Batman doesn't sneak up on him or anything like that. And they're trying to figure out what was going on. And, whether or not it's a geological phenomenon or else, it's probably Mr. Freeze. Cut to Julia, and I assume it's Julia is Pennyworth would be her last name because she's the daughter of Alfred. And she's here. And this is Vicky Vale. She's here. And Vicky likes Bruce. And she doesn't like Julia's connection with Bruce. But Julia likes Batman. And that's the deal here. So they're going to go and check out what's going on with that whole bank and the ice situation. And they get there pretty quickly, if you ask me. And Harvey Bullock shows up, and he's like, hey, you ladies aren't allowed. And Vicky Vale sweet talks him. And I guess they're able to get in. And then, of course, they fall. And then Batman and Robin have to go in after them. Dames, you just can't take them anywhere. You know what I mean? Jeez Louise. All in all, I think this artwork in this book looks great. The people look really good. Robin doesn't look lame in his short shorts, and it's not very action heavy, but it's got a good thing going on. So Batman and Robin have to go in after them. Bullock gets yelled at by Commissioner Gordon. And then here at Wayne Manor, we've got, again, Alfred trying to cover for Jason. He's like, oh, he's asleep. And this social worker's like, well, that's great. Let me just peek in on him. And then he's like, oh, well, actually, he's not here. And she's all, it's 11 o'clock. What's he doing out on a school night? Blah, 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 blah. Cut to Mr. Freeze. They capture Vicky Vale and Julia. And just a light, he can barely tap that gun, and it just freezes them a little bit. One of Mr. Freeze's dudes gonna take off with some dough, and that ain't cool. So Mr. Freeze lets him know that. And then finally we have this confrontation with Batman, Robin. The dude who draws the pictures touches the freeze gun, the big ass freeze cannon. And in doing so, he messes his hand up. Robin takes him out. Batman chases after Mr. Freeze, where Vicky and Julia are on an oh shoot. Is that a stalactite or a stalagmite? How about an icicle? He's threatening to do them in, but Julia. Oh wait, Vicky. Oh, I guess Vicky's the brunette. I don't even know, dude. Truthfully. Oh, they start. I see. It was Julia and then Vicky. They get out. They get out. They almost kill Mr. Freeze right there. Batman takes him out, and then Julia gets her kiss. Yay. I like how these people are all staring at the end also. They're like, oh, bold move indeed, toots. Oh, yeah, and I heartily approve of the brand of action as long as the recipient is not Bruce Wayne. I'm sure, there should have been a thought balloon right here for, Robin. Jason Todd. Thank goodness he didn't do anything too stupid here. But I think one of the reasons why I didn't like him either was because, stuff like this has to happen. Because when they get back to Wayne Manor, Alfred informs them that that social worker is coming back and she's going to take Jason away. And you have to read Detective and then Batman 2 weeks and then 4 weeks. And you can get the continuation of this story. Yeah, there you go. Oh, I usually play a video for that. Oh, well, not this time. All right, let's see here. All right, Joe Corralo's here. Great era of Batman. Yeah, man, So I know I've said this before, guys. I'm gonna try and no reason to say it next year. I won't be reading any Batman. During that time, you had Don Newton and you had Gene Colan on artwork, and Doug Moench and Mike W. Barr. And they were usually one-shot stories, nothing that continued. There wasn't anything like a Hickman run or anything like that. And the art was always very solid. You saw in all those pages, they looked really good. But it isn't dynamic. It isn't in that Marvel style, and Marvel is where it's at. So, yeah, even looking at the Daredevil stuff that's so great, or the Doctor Strange, Gene Colan also did did he do Werewolf or Tomb of Dracula? Did it for so many issues in a row. You see people and they can't even continue after 6 issues in comics these days. And you didn't know what you had at the time. And so I agree, Joe. It is a great era of Batman. Definitely something that people should pick up. Any of those Don Newton books, you don't have to worry about getting into the story. Mr. Freeze told you everything about him, right? In that one page, you know? Let's see. Excellent. Yeah, Fantinium. Don't pressure people. I have to start doing better when it comes to guests also. We'll have to talk about Dahlia in the Dark also, Joe. I think my Alfred like him more modern looking, not this classic one with the John Waters, the pervy John Waters pencil thin mustache. Stalagmites are from the bottom. Excellent. So I was right the first part, but I mean icicle, right? All right, excellent. And with that, do I even have it up here? I can't. It's been so long since I've run it. And with that, that was
here. I'm down here. Down here.
Mr. Sheldon?
all right. Here's some YouTube channels I really enjoy. Rick Worley's been on the show. Reggie Collects Comic is just way too big and powerful for me to even want to invite. Comics by Perch, he's way too erratic to even think that I could ever get him on the show. But he talks to Joe, and because of that, and knowing Wes on Thinking Critical, I've had guests on, and I've been on shows that a lot of people have seen me on. And then there's this one. And then there's Mod. So those are all channels I would check out. I'm going to have to pare those down, though, a bit, too. Always keep Rick Worley up because it takes a while for him to get that stuff done. But I'm going to have to start... Oh, and Cartoonist Kayfabe. I'm going to have to start limiting, like, all the other extra stuff, you know, that I watch. Because I want to really start reading more. And that continues my resolutions. I want to read more comics of what I've got. I don't want them to just sit around or only be in, you know, I don't necessarily need to do rereads or read throughs, but I've got a lot of stuff I've always wanted to get to. I have a hole in my knowledge of comics that is Love and Rocket sized, and there has to be a time when I start working on that. And I'm not going to do that if I just keep fucking around with all the stuff that I'm not really that into, which is difficult as a store owner because I do have to know about some of this stuff. I can't just say, oh, you know, and you know, it's funny because I thought there was a comic book I didn't see up here. Dead Boy Detectives comes out, and I could be like, you know, I could tell you about the Dead Boy Detectives. Do you know who did the artwork for the Sandman where they were introduced? Let me know in the comments or in the chat. You don't win anything, but you'll have my admiration. Don't look it up. Oh my God. All right. So firstly, I'm going to go backwards. Yule's Nightmare. He wakes up and every book is in a slab. I'm going to really try and use my voice, my power, my I am anti-slabbing. I'm anti-slabbing comic books. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. It's horrendous. I understand there's people that do that, and I understand there's reasons why people do that, and they're numerous. And I don't want to be all, I'm a gatekeeper and you got to collect comics this way. That's not what I'm trying to do. But they're comic books, you know, they're meant to be read or looked at or smelled, you know. I understand you want to preserve something, but not everything needs to be preserved. The fact that these are valuable was because the fact that they are valuable was because they're disposable. You know what I mean? If you're not disposing of them, you're making them less valuable. Really, truly, they're less valuable. Well, we can all have $10,000 Spider-Man 9.8s, or we can all read them and love them, and just a few people have, those. And we like, I mean, maybe it doesn't feel better to say I used to have that book, but with as many times as I've had to listen to it in my lifetime, we should start getting back into the practice of saying I used to have that book. Yes, that is a nightmare for me. I agree. And you can always start reading One Piece. I am not going to be reading One Piece anytime soon. If I was going to read anything, it would be Naoki Urasawa comic book, manga. Maybe Monster. I've read some of that. Maybe going back and finishing Pluto. That's the Watchmen for manga right there. And I know you, but it is. Maybe I would read some Drifting Dragons. There's a lot of volumes of that, but not in the One Piece style. And I like that one. Crazy Food Truck Driver is, or Crazy Food Truck is a fun one. There's only a few of those right now. So those are some manga I would dip my toes into. Maybe I will do a full-on reread of Akira. That would be good. Because for anybody that only knows the movie of Akira, there is so much more in the comic book. So much more. And when I was reading it, I would go over to my friend's house, and he was collecting all the Marvel ones. So that's how I read it. And it was like, whoa, man, there's so much stuff going on with the gangs and the pills, and it is crazy. Stick around. I'm just going to do this. It's almost the end of the show. Why does it do that? StreamYard. Why does it do that? I paid up. I'm paid up. There's no reason. I'm going to do it one more time. Very upsetting. Very upsetting. What if I do this? All right, that did the whole thing. And let me do a couple more just to see. Here, this is. I won't do this one. Well, the Mother's Basement worked. How about this? Let me go back. Maybe because it's been on here so long and I just haven't moved it. Yeah, all right, that's the last time. It's almost the end of the show, everybody. This is where I want to let everybody know that we have a Patreon page. These are all our patrons right here, scrolling across the bottom of the page. You have got us through very, very hard times. I'm not saying we're out of the woods yet, but thank you very much. It's been awesome, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to do something for you. I promise. We're working on it. And just stick around, because if you're gone, then I can't make it up to you. Just lower it. Just lower it to like a couple bucks. If it's a strain and you can't keep doing it, bigly, make it small, and we'll just keep you on. Maybe if I ever do that project or something like that. But no, thank you everybody that is a patron of ours. We also have a Substack page. Highly recommend you sign up for that. It's where we get all our interesting stuff that we play out and do and experiment on y'all with, and it's a fun time. And we get a lot of people liking what's going on in that, so I would definitely recommend checking that out. All right. I'm also going to be reading these comic books that are behind me right here. Look at this. I mean, I've got the issues now, but I've got this pocket book of Spider-Woman. Look at that in color. Excellent. got the good costume. I can turn around. Now look at this. I can't show you this cover. I got High Tone Comics right here. He's being Captain Victory. Yeah, a little Jack Kirby. Back when I thought what's this Jack Kirby all about? He sucks. I got books I need to be reading. All of the Marvels here. Generation X, Gen 13, the team up you never thought you'd see, and you never will now. I have a bookshelf back here. When you get past the novels and you get past the Bloom counties and stuff like that, I have books written about comic books. I have the Teen Titans Companions, Marvel in the Decades, the different books on those. I have comics journals. I have magazines. I have back issues. I want to every week, starting next year, every week, in addition to never reading another Batman comic book for the whole year, I'm going to make sure I always read an article in one of those magazines, in one of those books, read one of those books every week, so that not only will I have something to talk about here, and it doesn't necessarily mean I'll talk about it here, but just to further my knowledge of, it's shameful that Joe is so much more knowledgeable about comics than I am. Joe Corallo. It's like he what are you Wikipediaing up before you get up? Maybe his brain's not as soft as mine is now, is what it is. But I want to get back in there and like start remembering and start knowing those things, and just a little information. Matt Wagner, he was the one that drew the Dead Boy Detectives. It was in Sandman. It was Seasons of Mist. It was the break point where they're in the school and death hasn't come for them. That kind of stuff. So I'm going to read an article a week, a thing about a thing a week from one of my alternate sources that aren't comic books, about comic books. I want to break into some of those things that I set aside for when I don't work in comic books anymore, never thinking I would open a store, because I'm not getting any younger, and I do want to read all the Doom Patrol again. There were some issues I didn't read. So I want to do that. I want to read the Rachel Pollack stuff that follows. I've got the omnibus right here, but I think I'd really rather read it in issue form. I got the collections of things that are just like sitting here that I'm not ever getting around to. And as I'm becoming a little less enthused with a lot of the things that I'm reading these days, not always. I mean, and it's not always superhero stuff also. It's not always action and adventure. It can be comedy. It can be something that, moves me. But I just don't find it as often in the comic book genre and it's not that I want any one of those things. Oh, well, these are all the things that you talked about, all checked off, and with great art also, Yule. It's a feeling, it's a style, it's something that you can't always put your finger on it. But if I had to say, it's like it's that guy who did what was the name of that? I can't trust my videos, or else I just play one and get it. The guy who did Blue, that Australian guy, I think he is, Pat something. Can't remember now. top of my head, everybody. But you know, it's like stuff like that. It's the guy that did Hicksville. That guy's like he's not even Australian. He's like New Zealander or something like that. Dylan Horrocks. It's like a Dylan Horrocks book. Those speak to me more than almost any of the stuff that goes on, and they don't come out frequently. So you're always searching it out or trying to, get that next hit of whatever that thing is that's out there. But it's not being produced so often. But there's plenty of stuff from the past that I have that I've been getting away, and I've been scrolling it. I've been getting it and scrolling it away, so that I can. And that's what I'm going to do this year. These are the things that I'm going to be even more focused on paying attention to. So, no Batman. I'm going to start reading the collections. I'm going to or the things that I've collected that I want to read, whether it's something on this bookshelf or something in a box, the Giffen box. I have to start breaking into that again. Definitely it's time to start thinking about a Legion reread, these kinds of things. And then anything on my spinner rack. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just start going through my spinner rack and then removing it and then start putting other stuff up to follow up. And then, just do things to not only elevate comics or to further comics, but to further Fantastic Comics as a store. And then I'm gonna read articles and things about comic book creators. I'm gonna read, that book about Marvel in the early days and stuff like that. And that's my comic book New Year's resolutions. Stop being a fat fuck and start reading more comics. But just the ones I like, you know what I mean? And that's what I would recommend to almost everybody else. Just read what you like, whether it's new. There's a lot of stuff that's out there. Maybe I'll talk next week about some of the books that I think that are really, really good from this year. But 2 or 3 are standouts. One is I already know what my number one book of the year is, but I'll have a couple other things to like talk about, but not all of those things have I read or fully engulfed myself in into it. So those things are kind of, it's like the Love and Rockets stuff. Someday I'll get to it. Until then, I have it and it's waiting to go. But I don't want to do that anymore. I want to start getting through my stuff and start really making what I buy count. Because if it's just sitting here, it's not counting. And don't slab your books. We got to make sure we don't let people. We want to recommend people don't slab your books. We can buy you a nice little frame and you can just do that instead. It doesn't need to be slabbed. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm gonna play a video on the way out, but who knows if it's going to go all the way through. So until then, see you next week, or until we see you next week, buy some comics.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco. Trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother sunset sun. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn, but she left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.
It's late. I should probably just go home.
I had no idea. Hey, Jerry! Look what I got!